What is your name?
My name is Liz.
Where are you from?
I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas, small area, known for its beaches pretty much. But I've not visited back since I was born. I was born in February. I'm 57. I'll be 58 next month if anybody wants to give me any gifts. My favorite color is purple. I'm most definitely an animal lover. I have chickens, fish, birds, multitude of animals. I like that. My life has been kind of rough, pretty much like a lot of people. I had a rough start from a single mother, and when I was 2 weeks old, I was given to my grandmother, which was undoubtedly a lot of fun at the time. She had a lot of stories for me. She spoke about things of little things that I would do with her first husband. One of the things that the family would talk about most definitely was that my grandfather, called him Papa, liked to drink. And they lived in the country, a little bit outside of Beaumont and Cheeks. And there was a bridge and there was water. And they said that pretty much at least once or twice a month, he'd drive in the ditch. And we would sit there, and I always wanted to go with him because I always wanted some cookies and candy and chips. And he would put me on the roof of the car, and I would dangle my feet in the water. And this was a pretty regular thing. So I guess back then, at that point, they should have known that I like dangerous stuff. I stayed with my grandmother till I was about 3, and he passed. And so then I was moved to my other grandfather. And oh, it was so much fun with him. Now I called him Pop. I can remember a lot of things about him. Pop was a wonderful person. And he had this big old yard, and we had ducks and chickens, rabbits, kind of like a little mini farm. And I can remember he had a Shetland pony. I love that Shetland pony, but the Shetland pony ate me. I wanted to ride it, but the Shetland pony knew I was too fat. So no matter what direction I went with that Shetland pony, he's gonna kick me. You think that would stop me? No. Repeatedly, I continued to do it, and he continued to kick me. He didn't break any bones, but I wasn't getting on top of it. So at some point, I had to give it up. One thing you don't want to do is mess with ducks, little ducklings. I've been chasing many days with it. One time, he caught my skirt and ripped it off of me. Didn't stop me. I was pretty mischievous. My cousin dared me. Now, this is the part that's kind of sad, because I shouldn't have done that, and I feel really bad about it. He dared me to take the top off the feed, which was a barrel. And if you take the top off the feed, chicken gonna jump in there. So I heard my grandfather coming, and I heard him put the lid back on. I did not wait for the chickens to get out. So at some point, maybe the next day, there were a lot of dead chickens. Now, he did not believe in spanking. I can't remember my grandmother or my grandfather ever spanking me. They probably should have whooped my ass from day one. But what he did is that he cleaned the chicken up, and he told me, he said, "You're going to eat every chicken that you killed." And I'm like, "Well, what about my cousin?" He said, "You knew better. Something wrong with him in the head. So I'm punishing you." I ate chicken for breakfast. I ate chicken for lunch. I ate chicken for supper. I ate chicken for days. And I really don't like chicken now. But I did enjoy that experience. He taught me how to drive. He would put me on his lap. Some people say that's kind of perverted, but he wasn't nasty. And he taught me how to drive when I started driving about 6. And it got to the point where he had a Ford. And I liked the Lynx. And one day he told me, he said, "Pop, I want to go get a Lynx." And he didn't want to go. So he said, "Take the keys. You drive well enough, go get your Lynx." So I'm like all excited. I'm going by myself. So he put a pillar and I think some other stuff because I really couldn't reach it. And I learned to scoot all the way down. I could just barely see over the steering wheel. And I went to a stand and I got me my leak. Well, that got to be a repeated thing. Well, my mother found out about it. And so she had a hissy fit about it, like a lot of things she would do when she would come over there. But he didn't tolerate her. He just insulted her, calling names, tell her to get out of his goddamn yard. But yeah, he taught me how to drive, and we did a lot of wonderful things. And then I got to the point where it was time for me to actually go to school. That became the dark years. I was with my mother and my first stepfather, who I thought was my dad. I didn't know any better. They had gotten married when I was about 3 months old. So he initially just took, even my grandfather didn't know that I was not his, blood granddaughter. But he loved me to death, just as much as I loved him. But, it's one other thing. His wife had these old folks used to get like whatnots. It's another bad thing I shouldn't have done. God forgive me. I wanted to play with him. She wouldn't let me play with him. So I went to my grandfather. And my grandfather said that she can play with anything she wants to play with. So instead of playing with him, I took him and broke them all. Just knocked them all over the floor. I used to roll cigarettes. We'd smoke cigarettes. Oh, me and my grandfather had fun. But like I was saying, the dark time started when I moved with my mother. My mother, I loved her, but she was very physically and mentally abusive. At 7 years old, I was cooking full meals because she beat the shit out of me. I had to do the laundry, I had to clean the house, I had to do that. And she had a thing about going behind you. And if it wasn't clean, you was going to get beat. My stepfather, in the beginning, I did not know what was going on because I was too young. I knew it did not feel right. I did not feel comfortable. But I was so afraid of my mother, I never discussed it with her. As I got older, I learned more and more about what was going on. And at some point, I told a guy friend that lived down the street, what was happening. And so at that point, what he would do, because I had a younger brother, and what my stepfather would do is that when my mother went to work, he would take because my little brother never slept by himself. He would take my little brother out to bed and put him in their bed and come back to my room. And it's a really bad thing when you can't tell anybody that things are not right. And I suffered through that until my friend came and he started coming to the house on the notion that he was coming to play with my little brother, which was like, 4 years difference. But he would come over there in order to keep my stepfather from bothering me. And he did this. He was kind of like my protector, even though we were same age. And then he would like tell me, come on, Liz, let's, when it was time to clean the house before my mama got in, come on, Liz, let's do this because your mama gonna beat you. So he was kind of like that kind of person for me. As the things progressed on both ends, because my mother, in my mind, she enjoyed beating me, regardless. She liked to see me cry. There's so many things that occurred when I was with her that I don't remember, but I have scars for it. And she told my grandmother all kind of weird things. My grandmother suspected it was something going on, but I was such a bad child. So it was easy for her to label it as she did this, how bad she is. But I don't think a lot of things made really a lot of sense if you think about it. But as I got older, things got more aggressive, and the beatings they came like every day. It got to the point where I learned to get a beating and not cry. I would just like, I'm not here, I'm not here. And the most she beat me, I wouldn't cry. And she didn't beat you with just a regular belt. She beat you with a water hose. She beat you with an extension cord. One time she took a rose bush and took the thorns off of it, and she beat me with that. So I was used to beatings. I went to school with her whole handprint in my face. One time I went to school, and I was horrible at school. That's another thing. But I went to school one day. She combed my hair, and she took some scissors after she finished combing it, and she cut my hair all the way to the rubber band. And I watched ponytails drop, and all I could do was cry. Not loud. I had to do that real silent. And at school, I was a terror. I I I was a horrible bully. I bullied the girls because they would dress really nice. My grandmother would give my mother money, and my mother worked, and my stepfather worked. They, bought my brother everything, but I was not privileged to anything. They had to write home notes, and teacher wrote home a note and told my mother that, I was at the age that I needed a bra. The teacher had to write home and tell my mother that the dress that I was wearing was too short. And she still didn't do anything about it, so I learned, I bought, I found she used to work at a nursing home. And I took her pants, because I learned how to sew, I had to learn stuff. And I took her nursing pants, and I would wear it. That's how it started. I'd wear the nursing pants under my short dress. I had 3 dresses. I had a blue, a brown, and a green. That's all I had. That's all she would buy me for the whole year. And that's what I wore every day. I washed them because I had to do the laundry. So I was always clean. When those dresses got really too small, I went in her closet, and she still had a lot of nurses' uniforms. I needed some shoes because she wouldn't buy me none. So she had nurses' shoes in there, those white ones with the heels. So I took her uniforms and I mended them to the point where they wasn't flopping off of me. And that's what I wore to school every day. A nurse's uniform and nurse's shoes. And I was such a bully, nobody laughed at me. I mean, they might have behind my back, but if they didn't, I'd have probably jumped on them. I was not allowed in the classroom. I started from the classroom to the hallway to the secretary's office, and I sat on the side of the principal. That's the only way that I wouldn't get in trouble. Because, the kids would come in there, and I would just jump up and start fighting them. So I had a really bad time, and I brought it to school. And I'm very sorry about the things that I did, because I shouldn't have been that way, because that really was not my spirit. But I did not know how to deal with what I was going through. So that was my way of releasing. So after years of that, my first stepfather and my mother separated. I again was back with my grandmother, but now she lived in Houston. I separated myself from my mother as much as I could. She stopped beating me because she wasn't allowed to touch me. Now, living with my grandmother always was nice. My grandmother had me so spoiled that I had a bedroom, my own bedroom, and I wouldn't sleep in my room. She slept in a twin bed, and I slept on top of her. Until one day she told me, she said, Liz, Grandma can't take you sleeping on me no more. I can't breathe. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to sleep on the side. Yeah. And finally, she convinced me to go back to my room. But she also would give me cookies and milk at night. I didn't drink my milk in a cup. I had a baby bottle. And she warmed it up and she brought my cookies in my baby bottle and I sat up in the bed and took it. And she didn't think nothing of it. But then my mother came and snatched it and threw it away. Well, which was a good thing because I was about 15 years old. But that's just how spoiled she had me. There was nothing that I could do wrong in my grandmother's eyesight. I went to school this time. I went to Booker T, and I didn't get in trouble. Now, I've always made straight A's. That was never an issue with me and my grades. My conduct was always really bad. But when I got with my grandmother, I evolved into the person I should have been. I had her, my uncle, and my aunt to help me change that would, because I think I'd probably be in prison today if I hadn't separated myself from my mother. Now, she was a loving and caring mother to my brothers, but not to me. I was, even at Christmas time when I lived with her, anything that I wanted from my mother, I had to ask my brother to ask her to get it for him. I wanted a dog. I told him, I said, ask mama to buy you a dog. Everything. I told my mother one day, we were looking at Christmas pictures over at our house, and I pointed out, I say, do you see something that's unusual in these Christmas pictures? And she said, what are you talking about? I said, there are no toys for me. And she blew up. I said, there's no sense in you blowing up, because it's the truth. You didn't buy me anything. You made me call my granny and tell my grandmother all kind of fibs. And she would send you the money, because back then you could send money in an envelope. And you would take it and dare me to say anything. So I say these pictures represent a part of my life. There's no gifts for me. I would get a gift from my grandmother when she would come to visit. But other than that, I was not allowed. My mother never took me to the doctor. My mother never took me to a dentist, a park, anything. If I got sick, it was my fault. For a long time, you would think that my name was bitch, because that's all she called me. And I accepted it. It was like that. She was verbally abusive. She would tell me all the time, you so ugly the dogs won't even lick you. And she would tell me how much she hated me. My mother would tell me to get out of her house, make me pack my clothes. I'll pack the clothes, put it in a suitcase. When I walk out the door, she start beating me, telling me, where the hell are you going? And I'd be trying to tell her, you told me to leave. But that was her excuse when she couldn't find no excuse. Or if my brother broke something, I say, well, mama, he broke that. He too skinny, you fat, I'm gonna beat you. And she said it just like that. So it's so many things that she did that terrified me to the point that I couldn't tell what he was doing. And she would beat me so much they would get into a fight because he would jump on her because she was beating me so much. So I learned not to cry. Because I learned tears, she fed off of them. And staying with my grandmother, I didn't have to worry about her touching me. Because I knew my grandmother wasn't going to let her. But I still kept the secret of what they both had done to me. Because I still was scared of them. And I didn't want to say nothing. So I kept that secret until the day of my birthday, my 18th birthday. I remember I woke up and I just turned it. That was my day. That was my birthday. I woke up and I went in my grandmother's room and I said, Grandmother, I need to tell you something. And I set her down. She sat up in the bed. Well, first she was laying down. But when I began to talk to her, she said, and I told her what my mother had done those years that I was with her. I told her everything. I told her how she would make me tell her fears, how she would tell me, if you tell her that I did this, I'm going to do this to you. I told my grandmother how my dad that I thought was molesting me and step by step in what he did. And she called my mother and she told my mother everything. And my mother asked me, why didn't you tell me? I said, I didn't tell you because I was terrified of you, of all the ugly things you did. So she tried to deny it. I said, no. I said, I'm grown now. I said, today, I'm 18. And you're not going to ever touch me again. And she would do ugly stuff even after that. I still loved her. I remember one time my mother called me and told me, hey, come over to the house, I need you. I said, well, Mom, my car is broke. Because my grandmother bought me a car at 15 because you can get a hardship license. So I had a car at 15 years old. But the car was broke. And so she said, take a taxi. I said, okay. I got in the taxi. I went over there and knocked on the door. I said, well, Mom, the taxi driver says X amount of dollars. She cussed me for everything she could think of and told me, bitch, I didn't tell you to come to my goddamn house. Get the fuck out. And I'm standing there, the taxi driver over there looking, and I'm just looking at her like, are you serious? And so finally she went and got the money. She gave it to me and I gave it to the taxi driver. My mother would lie on me to everybody. She would tell them that I was such a horrible person, that I disrespected her, that I cussed her. And when they would come back to me, tell me, why do you act like that with your mother? And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's male and females. Anybody that she knew, that knew me. And I said, now you just think about it. What type of woman is she? And they would kind of go. I said, do you think that I would cuss her and get away? Are you serious? I never asked her why she would do those things, but she did it, even after I was grown. I think the last straw with my mother is I was working and I wanted to buy a car and I needed her to co-sign. And I thought we had got past a lot of stuff. Nah, she was still bitter and hateful. I remember that I had a special order car. It was a Saturn and it was purple and it was for my birthday. And I told the guy to put a bow on it and everything. And I paid the extra money to have them ship it in. So what I needed was, I forgot, I needed to get the insurance. So I took all my jewelry that I had because I didn't have any more money because I gave it for the, down payment. I took all my jewelry and went pawned it and I got the money for all my, the insurance and everything. And the lady because I was working at that time as a nanny. And she paid me ahead of time and she was excited too. He was all excited. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm on my way. The lady even got off from work early. So I said, Mom, I'm on my way, pick you up, and we can go get my car. She said, what car? I said, the car that we've been talking about for 2 weeks that you said you was going to co-sign for. You signed all the other paperwork, so we just need you to sign this last piece of paper. She clowned and performed and cussed. And all I could do is just bust out tears. And my boss was standing there, and she was looking at me. And I just put the phone down. And she told me, she said, she's not going to do it. I said, no. And she couldn't believe that because who does that to their job? At that point, I wanted her dead. I got in my car and I said, well, you know what? Today the bitch died. I meant that. I wanted her dead. And I was on the freeway and I called. She had remarried. I called my stepfather the second. And I loved him to death. He was a really good man. And I called him and I told him, I said, You and my little brother, get out the house. And he asked me why. I said, because I'm just a killer today. I don't give a damn what happens. She gonna die. I'm gonna burn that place down. And get out and you take my brother. And he kept saying, Liz, don't do that. I said, I'm gonna kill her today. Now you can watch it or you don't have to. But I'm gonna kill her because she don't deserve to live no longer. I'm tired of her. And just as I was getting ready to pass my exit to where I actually live, which was in my grandmother's house, something in my head screamed, go home. Go home. And I took that exit and I went home. And when I got home, all that anger was gone. I don't know what it was because I really intended to kill her. And my stepfather kept calling. I said, I'm at home. I'm not going to do it. But I'm done with it. And I was done. I stopped speaking to her, everything. And about 6 months later, she was dead. He called me on the phone and he said, Liz, please come. Something wrong with your mama. But when I got there, the paramedics were already working on her. When she came out, I can only explain that it's like something from my feet all the way just came through me. And I, like a sense of relief that she was dead. And I just looked at her as they rolled her out. She was dead. And I felt good about it. But I felt bad for my brothers. I went on and got everything arranged and everything. And I didn't want them to hurt. I tried everything to keep them from hurting. I didn't say nothing ugly about it, but I didn't feel what they felt. A number of years after my mother died, I purposely had her buried close to the road. And I would go there and run over her headstone, just drive over it out of anger. It took me about 5 years before I cried. I woke up one morning crying. And I was crying because I missed my mother. As mean and low down as she was, I still loved her. My first stepfather had remarried, and I didn't care for him at all. One day he was on the phone. I don't know, he would still call me. I didn't disrespect either one of them. And he would call me and I talked to him, but I just a bad taste in my mouth. And one day he was saying your mama didn't do nothing but this, that, and the other. And I defended my mother. As bad as she was, I told him, I said, don't talk about my mama, she dead. And you have no place to say one word about my mother. And he said, what are you talking about? And then I told him how nasty and dirty he was. I reminded him. So you have no place to talk about my mother. So he got off the phone, and 2 weeks later, he called me. And he told me, I am so sorry. I asked God to forgive me. Now I'm asking you, please forgive me for the things that I did to you. I am so sorry. I know I was wrong. I know I ruined your life. I know all the things that you went through, you shouldn't have been through. And at that moment, I felt something in me. I wasn't angry at him anymore. Just those few words changed so many years that I'd suffered. I really did. If it's anybody that has gone through that, there's no end to that. You can go seek doctors and all that, but the only peace you'll ever get is from God. You have to ask God to give you peace. And when he did that, I was all right. Shortly after that, he took sick and he went to nursing home. And I promise you, every week I went to Beaumont to care for him. Every week I went there, I paid the staff extra money to check on him. I bought him clothes. I bought him everything. Now this is a man that did all these things to me. But I was there every weekend. When I wasn't there, I had a girlfriend that lived there. And she would go and bring him dinners and all this. I pay her to, to do all this to a man that had mistreated me. But I still loved it. And I did that in spite of the ugliness that his wife brought to me. I found out that she never liked me. She told me that. I never liked you. She barred me from the hospital. She tried to bar me from the nursing home. And I don't even know why. Not even today. Why? This was a woman that knew me when I was a baby. I didn't know who she was, but that was the woman that he was cheating with while he was with my mother. So she knew me as a baby. Her sister used to tell me, I put diapers on you. And I'm looking at her sister like, how you put diapers on me? I just met you. But yeah, that was a woman he was cheating with when he was with my mother. So this woman knew me all my life. And she told me straight out, I never liked you. And I'm like, wow, what did I do to you? I never asked them for one dime. I never called and said, hey, can you give me $5? Can you give me this? I never did that. I knew he wasn't my real dad because he made sure I found that out with my birth certificate while he was chasing me around the house, telling me that, it's all right for me to have sex with you. You're not my daughter. That's how I found out who he was. And she knew this because I told her. But now she doesn't like me. So what? He passed. I was there. And it's behind me on that. Like I said, I lived a dangerous life. Only God protected me. I did not care about life. Sometimes I would pray and ask God, why am I here? Why do I need to go through what I go through? I dated guys that were very bad. And I was in a lot of areas where there were shootouts. And I'd be popped up, because I actually wanted a stray bullet. I knew self-killing, I was going straight to hell from my beliefs. Others have different beliefs. So I knew if I was going to leave, somebody else was going to have to do it. And that didn't work. I tried a lot of stuff. I never did drugs, no more than maybe weed. Never did crack, none of that. I drank, but I was always a lady. I didn't fall down. I didn't urinate on myself, but I liked to drink. And that helped me. At least I thought it did. I worked every day. I didn't bother anybody. I like to party. I love cafes. And I would go to work, get off, go to a cafe. And that's what I did for a number of years, for a lot of years. But I don't regret it. I met a lot of people that you normally would think that you would pass on the street and not even want to speak to. But these are very unique people. You never know the person that's walking around with a busted t-shirt on. You don't know what knowledge they have. You don't know what they can offer you. And a lot of people pass them. And you find people like that in the cafe. They're friendly, You don't have to, they have little fights and stuff like that. But it's not to the point where, you're getting shot and so forth and so on. And I liked it there. There was older people there, and I enjoyed the company of older people. I'm not a person that likes to be around females. I like being around men. Always have. I get along with them better because there's no competition. With women, sometimes they get competitive with each other for no reason. It's not necessary. You are who you are, You got what you got, work with what you got. If you ain't got it like that, then just work with what you got. I never wanted to be the same as everybody else, no matter what it is. I'm still that way. If everybody was doing that, I'm going to do something different. Uh, I did not like to be around people that were loud and boisterous, very quiet. I'm a peaceful person. Your life is what you make of it. I am so blessed that of everything that I got. I just recently lost two of my childhood friends, one Monday and one last month. And I don't know how to process it. But I've lost so many people along the way. And I guess as long as the Lord leave me on this earth, I'll continue to lose people. But it's so hard to make a change to go on in your life when this person has been in your life more than 40 years, both of them. And I put one to rest, and I have to put the other one to rest. And I can't cry. I try. Now when I got pains, I can cry. But I can't cry for them. It just won't happen. I guess because I have been in tears within my spirit all my life. I've always been never happy. Even though I'm blessed, I'm not happy until I put a smile on somebody else's face. I say things, I insult people, only to get a laugh out of them. But I am very outspoken. I try to help as many people as I can. I love being around young people to help them. I've raised so many kids. I never wanted kids, but look like everybody else is having them and dropping them at my doorstep. But the ones that I've raised, I am so proud of them. They have made such a tremendous, they're just positive people. They're not no senators or no governors, but they make a good living. And they're hard workers, and that's what's so important. To me, education is the number one key, always has been. But education does not mean that you have to go to a big college. You can go to small college. Education doesn't mean that you have to go to school at all. Educate yourself in something that you like doing. Promote yourself. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. Don't let anybody piss on you until it's raining. You have to believe in yourself first. Believe in God and you'll make it. And when I see young people doing fantastic things, I don't even have to know them. I can go on Facebook and see somebody that's done something so great and I not even know them. And I am so proud of them as if they part of my family. Because growth within a generation is a beautiful thing. And there's so many negative things going on in the world. It's just like you in a field of dead weeds and one flower pops up. And just that one flower kind of makes all what's around it disappear. And that's the way I feel about this generation. Even though it's a lot of negative, if just one come up, I'm proud. I will do anything in the world to help somebody better themselves. I try hard to talk to people and be honest with them as I know. I don't want to tell them something wrong. I want them to know what's right. And if I can't do it, I will definitely lead them to someone else. I try to make myself available, but also I like to be a person that they can come to and feel comfortable with, because I didn't have all those things. It's as if the things that I did not have are the things that I want to give to others, because nobody in their right mind want to suffer. And I guess if I had money, I'd probably be broke the next day because I would give it all away. It's just a better thing to see another person happy, because I feed off of that. It's like a drug. I don't have happiness, but I like to make other people happy. And sometimes I am, like I say, I'm insulted. Yeah, that's just me. That's the ugly part of come back every once in a while. But since I have not been feeling well, the children that I was around are now showing me just how much I mean to them. And that to me is such a gift. These are not kids that I birthed. These are just kids that I touched their lives in some way. Sometimes when they be talking to me, I be like, I did that, and they be like, don't you remember when you did such and such a thing? And they don't care. I can pick up the phone and say, hey, such and such. Okay, I'm coming. A lot of people can't get their kids to do that. But it comes from the fact that when they need it, whatever they needed, I didn't question it. I gave it to them. I got it for them. I listened to them. I ran with them. I did what I thought was the thing to do to save the child. Because a lot of kids, if you're looking from the outside in, you think they got a wonderful life. You think that everything is just so beautiful and happy. But if you actually open that door and hide in the closet, you will find some very horrific things going on. And these children are suffering and they don't know where to go. So if I can hear one or two or three, that's what I'm going to do. That's my purpose. And besides that, I got a lot of cakes I could be making and eating all the shit I ain't supposed to have. But all in all, my life started off unwanted. My life was of people that didn't want me. But then there's no people that did. And that outweighed all of it. I am the person that I am because of the negativity. I'm a strong black woman. And I'm proud of who I am. Everything I've done in life, I'm not ashamed of it. I own my shit, whatever it is. And anything or anybody that I can help within reason, I'm not going to stop. My illnesses is not going to keep me from stopping. And for those people that think that I'm on my last leg, since I'll be turning 58, y'all full of shit. Things is, once I get this leg together, I'm going to be the same hateful, mean bitch you've always known to love. But I don't know. A journey is a journey for everybody. And it's like this pastor said, when you're born, on your tombstone, there's a birthday. And on tombstone, it's a death day. And what's important is not those dates. It's what's in between. How you live your life. How you contribute to other people. What did you do with your life to make this world a better place? It only takes one person to spread to another person and just keep doing it. It's hard. And you're either going to fight or you're going to lose. You have to make a choice. So that's pretty much what my life is about so far. Right now, I'm enjoying all my animals, and my chickens are fat, but they don't want to lay any eggs. And I wish I had a bigger place, because I definitely want a cow and a duck and a couple of other little things. But I'm a happy person. I'm a blessed person. And I guess this is the end of our little segment.
Well, thank you for your time.
Academy Award. Thank you.